Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, April 14th meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. And will everyone please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Giordano.
Present.
Trustee Quigley.
Present.
Trustee Luisi.
Present.
Trustee Alfasi.
Present.
Mayor Eklund.
I am here tonight. First item on our agenda tonight is going to be an appointment, and this is the appointment of Janice Barandis as member of the Zoning Board of Appeals to fill the unexpired term of Steve Alfasi. And this term will now expire on April 1, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. We have a presentation tonight, and I'm going to ask Frank DeMarco if he'd please come on up and give us an explanation on what is MS4 stormwater.
Welcome, Mayor. Board. Steve Quigley, welcome. Steve Alfasi, welcome again.
Thank you.
MS4, this is my annual MS4 application every year. What is MS4? Municipal Stormwater Report. All the state wants to know is what we're doing to protect our waterways. And that's basically what this MS4 application is. But also, this also gives me the opportunity to also educate our public. I'm always being asked, when we get rainwater, where does it go? Does it go into our sewers? Does it go into the rivers? Does it go into our backyards? Does it, seep into the ground? It really does all of the above except for going to our sewer system. When it rains, the rain is caught at the catch basins, which are along the end of the blocks, up along the curbs, and it's a whole system of piping that leads this rainwater to our rivers. And that's why it's important that we monitor everything that goes into this system. Unlike the sewer system, which is all the sewer waste that comes from your home, toilet, sink, basins, we have two parallel lines that run parallel to our streets and our main roads. One line carries sewage, the other line carries rainwater. The two should never meet, and it's my job to make sure that that happens, that it doesn't meet. But at all the catch basins lead to an outfall. Outfall are several pipes that run along the Bronx River. And, again, it's our job to make sure that it's purified as best as possible. We're running up along the street. The rainwater collects debris, collects minerals, collects salt. We just want to make sure that nothing more than that goes into our rivers. And in explaining the MX4, what it is, it's a state application that's done annually. And they want to know what Tuckahoe is doing to keep our waterways clear. Is there any illegal discharge? If there was, what are we doing to prevent it? Are we protecting our waterways? What measures have we taken throughout the year to make sure that we're doing the best we can? And some of what Tuckahoe has done over the years is we created this whole mapping system, a GPS, of all of our catch basins. And it allows us a means of monitoring, repairing, any tie-ins that we need to make. It gives us an excellent mapping of our system. And as of today, all our catch basins have these medallions that clearly specify no dumping because it drains into our waterways, it drains into our river. And at the bottom, there's a number which identifies that particular catch basin. These numbers are all coincide with our GPS mapping, and it gives us a great understanding of what we have here in Tuckahoe. We even went so far as to color code our mapping, that if we ever had an illicit discharge in one catch basin, it will tell us where in the river it would lead to, so we could stop it before it leads into our waterways. All of this is available on our Tuckahoe map website under DPW. And we have a whole layout of our sewer mapping, and we have a whole layout of our GPS stormwater mapping. And that's basically it. Again, if there's any questions, call me at DPW. We also have a questionnaire on our website that I ask everybody to please involve themselves in. A copy of the MS4 application will be available here at the clerk's office, the library, DPW office, and also online. That's all I really have.
Well, thank you, Frank. I know you and your men do a great job on the infrastructure we have in the village. I was just talking to somebody earlier tonight. One of the items that we've addressed in this upcoming budget is putting in some additional funding for the sanitary sewer infrastructure that we have. So I know you've had a lot of issues with the aging sewer system we have, and we're going to do our best as a board to try and give you the adequate funding so you can make some of these corrections. I know you've had a tough time with that in the last year.
It's been very difficult the past
Yeah.
couple of years. We're moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, Frank, sorry, I got a question. If it turns out that something improper or it gets into the system, do we risk penalties or sanctions from the state or from some other body for, the improper substances in the sewer system?
Yeah, there are fines. Yeah, there are.
And who determines that?
Me. We've had illicit discharge here over the years. I have fined individuals with pictures, taking them to court, and I don't want to make it easy for them, because knowingly dumping into our waterways, it's just not right.
No, I agree, but do we risk a fine, say, from the state as a result? Because
Not if we take action.
Okay.
Not if we take action. Again, that's all part of my report. If there is illicit discharge, I do have to specify what happened in the report. I do have to make my own report and submit it with this application.
Okay, thanks.
Okay?
Mayor, I just have a quick question. Frank, I just have a quick
Yes.
question. You made me think of something. The Glenmark development, for example, it's my understanding that if you're disturbing more than an acre, those developers have to get something called a SPEEDIES permit. It stands for Stormwater Pollution Discharge Elimination System Permit. Do they file that with you if they're disturbing more than an acre, or does that go straight to the state?
It's more than a half an acre, and I think they've applied for it already.
Okay.
That will be next year part of my report, because over the past previous years, we haven't had development more than a half an acre.
Okay. And that's the SPEEDIES permit?
It's a SWIP permit.
Right, okay. Okay. So that does come down to your office ultimately?
Next year, that will be a part of my application.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other board members have any questions for Frank? All right, thank you very much, Frank. We have a couple of public hearings tonight. The first one is public hearing number 1 for the discussion on the tentative budget for fiscal year June 1, 2014 to May 31, 2015. Do I have a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor?
Trustee Quigley.
In favor?
Trustee Luisi.
Favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. This public hearing is now open, and before I call up our treasurer, I'm just going to talk very briefly on some budget notes that I took tonight. We have had a total of 6 budget meetings. We started on January 10th this year. Our goal has and always has been over the last few years to keep any tax increase that we are forced to impose, to keep it under the state mandated tax levy, which has been 2%. This year it is 1.65%. We started our budget process with nearly a 6% increase in the tax levy, so we were quite a bit behind the 8 ball when we started. We posted our tentative budget on March 20th, I believe it was, and that is the document that is available on our website now. We have since worked on that tentative budget, but that budget is posted with a 5.44% increase in the tax levy. Since then, we have had additional budget meetings, and I am very happy to say that our budget right now, as it stands, we are down to a 1.59% increase. So we are below the tax levy. We intend on adopting a budget that will be below the tax levy this year. So with that, I'll ask our treasurer if he would come on up and give us some of the highlights and bullet points on this budget.
Good evening,
John
Mayor.
Pintos, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board, village residents. I'll be brief and quick, and To start, I'll just go over very briefly how we do a budget. We first establish what do we need to spend in order to keep the village operating at its current level and to perform all functions that the residents are used to receiving. With that said, what we look at first is what revenue sources can we count on aside from property taxes to help fund these spending needs. After all said and done, the remainder, as crude as it sounds, is a plug number. Our tax levy is a plug between what we surmise and what's needed to balance out to give us a zero budget. As the mayor pointed out before, we will adopt a budget that is on or below the mandate passed by Albany and the governor. Our budget contains an increase of 5% over the prior year's budget, but that's basically made up of budgeting items to repair and keep up our village property, infrastructure, vehicles, etc., and to backfill previous positions that we kept open. To offset that, the non-property tax items, we have an increase of 11.5%, which goes a long way toward keeping the need for excessive property tax levy. We were able to increase, well, the county has increased its sales tax revenues. Rental space in the villages, the leases move on a little bit higher, and we fully rented out Village Hall. And we have some more than anticipated building permit money to come in. The result is, again, as was stated before, a property tax increase of 1.65% or a little bit less. Again, I'd like to thank the hard work of the mayor, the board, every department head, and every member of the staff who all gave input, very positive input, and helped us to arrive at the situation we're in today. And again, the budget until we adopt it is a living document. We're at 1.65%. It would be nice to go a little bit lower.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. One of the things that we were sensitive to this year as well is the state legislature has passed what they're calling a property tax freeze. And how that will work is if a municipality such as us, if we adopt a budget that is less than the 1.65% tax levy, which we intend on doing, then we would need to repeal any override legislation that we may have in place. Now, every year in the month of January, February, we adopt a piece of legislation that will allow us to exceed the 2% tax levy. And we do that just in case. You never know what's going to happen. We may be forced to adopt a budget for some reason that we just cannot anticipate in January. We adopt a budget almost on May 1st. So we go ahead and put that safeguard in place. We will have to repeal that piece of legislation, which we have scheduled a public hearing in our agenda tonight. And once that is done, then the next step in the process is, if I remember correctly, I certify the budget to the governor in June. I think I have 20 days and after June 1st to do that. And then the state is going to send myself and every other resident a refund check for the increased amount that we are increasing property taxes tonight, or when we adopt our budget. So I did some quick math, and I figured a typical single-family house in the village of Tuckahoe, based on the budget the way we have it right now, should cause for an increase in a resident's single-family house property tax bill of approximately $69.50. So if that's the case, and we do adopt that budget, that single-family homeowner should get a refund check from the governor before the year is out, maybe for $69.50. So in essence, it's a budget for us, what we're doing by keeping everything in check and doing the work that we've done, and in essence, really comes down to a 0% tax increase. So I think that's kind of good. Anyway, with that, the public hearing is now open, so I would throw it out to anyone from the public who would like to come on up and speak about our budget. And being there, nobody here to make any comment, I'll pass it on to my colleagues here on the board, and we'll start with Deputy Mayor Tom Giordano. You want any comments on our?
Thanks, Mayor Eklund. Just preliminarily, I think we're fortunate in that, apart from the hard work that we did over the past 2 months in trying to come up with a strategy for keeping our tax base low, I think we were also fortunate by the development that's occurring in the village. I think that we're coming off of some difficult choices that were made last year and decisions that were hard for all of us to make. At the end of the day, though, I think they've resulted in tax increases that are manageable for our residents. And we hope that we can continue that through the time that those developments become stabilized, and we then have an increased base to work with that becomes permanent. So I think we're in good shape this year financially, and I think that that's partially a result of some good providence and mostly the result of some good decision-making over the past few years. So,
Well said, thank you. Trustee Quigley, anything?
Thank you, Mayor. When it comes to the budget, we, the board, and the mayor have essentially two responsibilities. One is, of course, as Deputy Mayor Giordano mentioned, is to keep the taxes at as low as possible. And then to counter that is to continue to provide the level of services that the village residents have come to expect and appreciate. And I think that this budget has met that balance well. As you've heard the numbers in terms of the increase over last year's budget, it's very, very minimal. But at the same time, the funding that is being provided to the various departments within the village, I think are certainly adequate to continue and hopefully in some instances enhance the level of our services. So I think it's a good, fair and balanced budget. Thanks.
Thank you. Trustee Luisi, anything?
Thank you, Mayor. It was good to start off our first budget meeting this year in a lot better financial position than last year's first budget meeting. I think as Deputy Mayor Giordano alluded to, last year we were in double digits before we did anything. This year we were in a single-digit deficit, and it was a lot easier to come up with this budget. I believe the residents will be happy with this budget. I believe they're in the sense that there's no cut to services, and at the same time, we are improving our technology in our police department. We're keeping the equipment up to par. Our Department of Public Works is going to be able to repair the roads throughout the village, and I think as most of our residents know, not only here but throughout wherever you travel with your vehicle, you know, this past winter just wreaked havoc on the roadway. So we were able to allocate a good percentage of money to be able to repair those potholes. And again, as was mentioned by my colleagues, the building permit fees that are coming in from these developments are sure to help us with our general fund and our fund balance. So I think our residents will be very happy, and I applaud everyone for their hard work in allowing this budget to be presented to the village and its residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Alfasi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to echo what Trustee Luisi just said. Unfortunately, I can't take credit for this budget. The credit goes to these fine gentlemen and Jeanette Hayes, who was on the Board of Trustees and who worked on this budget extremely diligently. But you all deserve the credit. We know that all of our municipalities throughout the state, and I dare say throughout the country, are having very difficult times right now. But this Board of Trustees has been able to keep our budget below the tax cap, and I really want to congratulate you. And I think even going forward, it's going to get a little bit tighter going forward, but with the development that is coming into our little village here, I think we're going to be in good shape for the foreseeable couple of years. At least I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. But, it's great to have the nice-to-haves, but this Board of Trustees is certainly providing you the must-haves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, there being no other comments, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Public hearing number 2 is to discuss local law number 2 of 2014, which will be a local law repealing section 2-12 of the Village Code of the Village of Tuckahoe entitled Residency of Officers, Employees, and restating and reenacting residency requirements applicable to certain positions within the Village of Tuckahoe. Do I have a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. The public hearing is now open, and I'm just going to give a brief explanation on what we're doing here. We're looking to create an opportunity to widen the field for us to look for staff from all of Westchester County, not just from the town of Eastchester. So I'm going to read a section of this local law which kind of gives a good explanation of this. The purpose, the Village Board of Trustees finds that due to the relatively small population of the Village of Tuckahoe, it is not always possible to fill certain appointive offices, employment positions, and/or non-judicial positions in village government requiring municipal, administrative, or financial expertise with Village of Tuckahoe or Town of Eastchester residents who are duly qualified to hold such positions. The Village Board of Trustees further finds that it is authorized to appoint qualified residents of Westchester County outside of the Village of Tuckahoe and Town of Eastchester to said offices pursuant to Section 3-300 of the New York State Village Law, as well as further appoint qualified residents of Westchester County to certain positions of employment. So that pretty much tells it all. We have always historically tried to hire local, and when we have gone outside of our boundaries, we have basically every year we'll go ahead and grant a waiver. So what we're doing here is we're just starting off out of the box, allowing us to go ahead and advertise outside of the town of Eastchester, and hopefully in our hiring practices we'll be able to take a larger pool of candidates. So I'm going to ask my very competent village attorney. Did I get that right, John?
Yes, Mayor, the New York State law, the village law and the public officers law actually sets a baseline and indicates that certain public officer positions should live within the village. And then years ago, the Village of Tuckahoe expanded that to the town. But the village law gives villages under the section you cited the ability to expand it even further to the boundaries of Westchester County, since Tuckahoe is located within Westchester County.
And just so people know, if you want to become an elected official, you have to live in the Village of Tuckahoe. I get that question a lot.
That's correct. If you're elected, the mayors, the trustees, and the judge, they actually have to be residents of the Village of Tuckahoe.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public who would like to discuss this? And any comments from any of the board members?
Just briefly, Mayor. I think there are several lines of thought in connection with this legislation. I think on one hand, there's a line of thought that no employees should be village residents, and that line of thought has been that since really employees are supposed to have at an arm's length relationship with the village, that that there shouldn't be that residential kind of local, population that's populating our employees. There's another line of thought that all should come from our village, in that we like to take care of the people and afford opportunities to people who are actually paying taxes, who we know. I think this is a good compromise. I think in what it really does is it allows for the process to be the best process to find the best candidate. I think it allows for elected officials to choose among our local residents if they know of somebody who has talent and ability, such as many of the employees that we have here now. But it also allows us to go outside of the boundaries of Tuckahoe to search for the individual who would best fit the needs of the village. So I think this is the right approach.
It's very true, actually, and I have heard that from a lot of people on both sides of the issue. You shouldn't hire anybody who lives here, and you should only hire, you're absolutely right. We do hear that a lot. Anybody else have anything?
I'd just like to add, and I believe I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is that the volunteer committees in our village, which have a lot of influence and a lot of involvement with what goes on in the community, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Board, the Library Board, are all made up entirely of Tuckahoe residents, and they will continue to be so. So these are very important policy and planning and the type of boards that direct a lot of what makes the village what it is, so they will continue to be purely Tuckahoe residents.
That's a good point, and that's true, yes.
Just to add to that point, they actually have to be, the zoning board members and the zoning board members and the planning board members, there's actually a requirement that they are residents of the local municipality where they sit.
Anybody else, any comments?
The only comment I would have, Mr. Mayor, is I couldn't have said it better than trustee Giordano.
Very good. Well, there being no other comments, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Did he ask if anybody wants to be heard?
You did, you asked if the public wanted.
Yes.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. So we go to resolution number 1 is to adopt and enact local law number 2, repealing section 2-12 of the Village Code of the Village of Tuckahoe entitled Residency of Officers, Employees, and restating and reenacting residency requirements applicable to certain positions within the Village of Tuckahoe. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. That brings us to the adoption of minutes and the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 10th, 2014. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Next is approval of the correction of the February 10th, 2014 minutes to reflect approval of minutes of the January 13, 2014 meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Do we have any correspondences this month? We do not. Okay. This brings us to the first opportunity to address the board on anything on our agenda tonight. If anybody would like to discuss anything. And since we do not have anybody interested in talking about our agenda tonight, we'll talk about it. And that's going to bring me to resolution number 2, ratifying village board action, authorizing the village clerk to issue a special permit under the cabaret law to Tucked Away for Friday, March 16th from 10 a.m. to noon time. Do I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
Favor.
Trustee
In
Luise.
favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 3 is authorizing the village clerk to issue a limited cabaret license to Tucked Away to October 31, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 4 is authorizing the use of the trolley by the Village of Bronxville for their Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 26th of this year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 5 is approving the Village of Bronxville's request for the use of the Tuckahoe Trolley for June 8, 2014 for a garden tour from noon until 4:30 as part of the celebration of the 350th anniversary of the town. The tour will start at Bronxville Village Hall and loop around 8 gardens in Bronxville, Eastchester, and Tuckahoe. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 6 is accepting a contribution of $610 from the Generoso Pope Foundation to fund costs associated with the Easter egg hunt event, which is scheduled for this coming Saturday, April 19th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 7 is a resolution scheduling a public hearing on repealing local law number 1 of 2014 entitled "A Local Law Authorizing a Property Tax Levy in Excess of the Limit Established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C." Such local law number 1 of 2014 having been enacted on February 10th of this year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, part of the whole property tax freeze. So by.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Before we take a vote, can we have a
Yes.
little discussion? I just wanted to ask council a little bit, if you can explain to myself and perhaps the audience at home, a little bit about why we need to repeal this now. I think the mayor did, but why we need to do that now? And will it affect us? I mean, God forbid something should go wrong.
Well, there's two aspects to it. To further the point that the mayor indicated, in the budget recently passed by the state legislature with the legislation for the property tax freeze, not the property tax cap, the property tax freeze, that the governor proposed, it was actually passed as part of the state budget this year. And part of those regulations required that if you are a municipality that wants to take advantage of that property tax freeze, and you've passed a local law to exceed the tax cap, you should repeal the local law. It's not enough just to stay under. You actually have to affirmatively repeal the local law to get the benefit of the property tax freeze. The other thing to keep in mind is that you do have, up until the time that the budget is passed, to pass a local law to exceed the tax cap should something with the budget go awry, and you ultimately determine that you want to pass that local law again. Obviously, you'd have to have a public hearing. It would probably at that point entail a special meeting because of the timing involved. But you have that option, and you could actually do that even up till the night that the budget is passed.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're not tying our hands, so to speak.
No, you can always come back. You could amend the amendment that repealed the first local law.
And
Sounds good.
Actually, to further that point, what we're doing tonight is just scheduling the public hearing.
Right.
So we would actually have this public hearing at our May meeting, which will be after we adopt the budget. So we would kind of know at that point whether or not we had a budget that was in excess or below that tax
Right,
cap.
this public hearing is scheduled for May 12th.
Right.
And you certainly have the option to pass the local law that would repeal local law number 1 of 2014 as early as the evening of May 12th after the public hearing.
Right.
John, would we be in our best interest hypothetically to raise taxes by 1.9999% to maximize the refund that we got from the state?
Well, there's two schools of thought. Because the property tax cap is, as we all know, leveled at 2% in the legislation, but I don't believe the villages, when you add in and you apply the formula, I don't believe it's 2% now because it's also based upon last year's budget. So the treasurer would have to certify what that number is, and then the board could measure how much you want to increase taxes. It may be a net neutral gain for our residents because you're going to, if you increase them, for example, by $70, they're going to get $70 back. If you increase them by $100, they're going to get $100 back. But I don't believe we're at 1.999. I believe we're a number a little bit lower based upon the formula that the state applies to us. And that has to do with what's excluded from the formula, what's calculated into the formula, what we did last year. Did we have any carryover from last year? So it's a pretty complex formula that the state uses to calculate tax caps.
But to Tom's point, $100 in our general fund is better than $70 in our general fund, if our residents are going to get it back anyway.
Right, and when the refund comes, it's going to be coming out of the coffers of the state. So it's something
Which
that
we paid anyway, in our taxes.
yeah, you're going to be paying. The residents are going to be paying in the property taxes.
You're paying that, and you're absolutely right. Well, we're right now, this year, as we had mentioned, we will have to adopt the budget at 1.65, and we're now at like 159. So we could adopt a budget, we could go ahead and ratchet it up right up to the 165 or 164, just have to make sure that our treasurer keeps us at that limit, so, but no, it's a very good point.
Ready for roll call.
Okay.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 8 is paying a few bills, and it's approving payment of vouchers in the amount of $837,679, consisting of abstract number 35 for $15,991, number 38 for $216,681, number 39 for $54,565, and number 40 for $3,383, number 41 for $222,112, and number 42 for $106,510, number 43 for $218,433. I guess you can tell we didn't pay bills last month. The three largest invoices paid were $123,618 for employee health insurance premiums for the month of March of this year, $123,618 for employee health insurance premium for the month of April of this year, and $71,026 for serial bond principal and interest. Do I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
Favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 9 is a resolution declaring the Village Board of Trustees intend to act as lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, commonly known as SECRA, as it concerns an amendment to the Village Comprehensive Plan. Do I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Little discussion, this is relating to a rezoning application that we're going to be acting and considering. And I'll just read a section of this. Whereas the village board is considering a rezoning petition for a portion of Lake Avenue properties and surrounding properties. The premises is commonly known as 150 Lake Avenue. People will recognize this. This is that, it's the doctor's office, or it was a doctor's office, just past the large parking lot, the parking lot which is in front of Growlers, down by the train station. It is Section 33, Block 7, Lot 4. Also 8 Cedar Street, which is the side street there, Section 33, Block 7, Lot 2. And number 10 Cedar Street, Section 33, Block 7, Lot 1. And this is going to be changing from an industrial zoning district to a residential B zoning district. Roll call.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
Favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 10 is a resolution scheduling a public hearing on an amendment to the Village of Tuckahoe Comprehensive Plan dated May 2008. Do I have a motion for scheduling that public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. We have a resolution number 11 tonight, which is resolution number 11, authorizing the village clerk to issue a special permit under the cabaret law to Tucked Away for Friday, May 2nd, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, May 18th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. And that is going to bring us to our departmental reports to the board. And as always, we start with our extraordinary Chief of Police, John Costanza, who was a very good football player in school, too.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Congratulations to Trustee Alfasi and Trustee Quigley on your recent election and reelection. Welcome. Just a couple of announcements this evening. The police department is participating in a distracted driving enforcement campaign that's running this week through tomorrow, the 15th of April. We're joining police departments nationwide in enforcing use of cell phones and texting while driving. 10% of all fatal accidents are caused by distracted drivers. So we are out there in force. We've issued several moving violations already this week, and we will continue through the rest of the campaign. We do enforce these laws very vigilantly all year round, but this particular week we had received some funding from the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for overtime for added patrols, and we will continue to do that through tomorrow. I just want to thank the Generoso Pope Foundation. Recently, they donated a couple of pieces of equipment to our police gym. It was a commercial-grade treadmill as well as an arc machine. These two excellent pieces of equipment cost $10,750. It's an upgrade to a donation several years ago by the Pope Foundation to completely upgrade our gym. The gym is well used by the members of our department, and the timing was very good. We recently had conducted a Cooper standard test, a physical fitness test, to all our officers. Tuckahoe Village Police Department, for the leadership of this board particularly, is one of the few communities that has our officers continue to conduct the Cooper Standard test. And the Cooper Standards are tests that are scientifically proven for the police job, for law enforcement. And several years ago, the board took the initiative with the Tuckahoe PBA to initiate this program so that the members are have a reward for their fitness level, and more importantly than anything, for themselves, for their health and well-being. So this past week or so, all the members participated in the standards test. It's probably the highest rate of passing that we've had in several years with the department, and particularly since I think 2009 when we first initiated this program. Every year there's been an improvement with the number of members who pass the test. They have to pass the test at a 40 percentile for their age and gender, and that 40 percentile is the same standards that somebody would need to get into the police academy today. So it's a very vigorous test. It's not easy to complete, but I'm very proud to say that our percentage-wise, we're way ahead of the curve, and every year it gets better. So it's a tribute to the members of the department and for this board for taking the leadership in promoting good health and well-being of our police officers, and certainly to the Generoso Pope Foundation and David Pope in particular, for seeing that and funding the gym and making it one of the better workout facilities in the county. So thank you to all. And that's my report for this evening.
Well, very good one, too. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Frank, do you have anything else to add tonight? Okay, your MS4'd out. Bill, did you want to add? No, nothing at all? We already heard from our treasurer. Village attorney, anything you want to throw at us tonight? All right. And Deputy Clerk, okay, good. Miscellaneous business, we have a special meeting, village board meeting, which is going to be the night where we will adopt our budget, and that is going to be on Monday, April 28th. And, oh, I'm sorry, look at that. I just passed right by Mr. Galuzzi. Would you please come on up? Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. That was Greg. And Greg. Mr. Galuzzi is, he heads up, and I know what he's going to talk about, too. He heads up all our recreation and our facility down there on Columbus Avenue, the Tuckahoe Community Center. So I hear the Easter Bunny's going to make a trip to...
Yes, and I wanted to talk about that. Mike is very sensitive. Congratulations, Trustee Quigley, maintaining your seat, and congratulations, Trustee Alfasi.
Thank you.
With that, yes, Saturday is our Easter egg hunt, beginning at Circuit Park. We start promptly there at 11 a.m. for ages 1 to 4. And then we resume over to right here, actually, at Village Hall, 65 Main Street, where the ages for the Easter egg hunt are from 5 to 9. So we encourage parents to bring out your little ones and enjoy Easter, celebrate Easter here at the Village of Tuckahoe, and join in the hunt. Brought to you by the Village of Tuckahoe and sponsored by the Generoso Poe Foundation. So we do have some programs over at the Tuckahoe Community Center that might be of interest. We have a new fitness program for women called Plank Fit, which began last week. Looks like it seems to be very successful that night. It's a group exercise class and involves cardio, strength, toning, and flexibility. The first class is free. If you'd like more information, they do have a website for class schedule and tell you a little bit more about their Plank Fit program, and that's www, of course, plankfit.com is spelled. If you're a senior in high school and you've been looking for colleges and you want more information, which is I've always wanted when I was a senior looking for, is a good idea. There's a free seminar at the Tuckahoe Community Center. It's called Find the College That's Right for You, and it's a program geared to give high school students and their parents a head start in the college admission process. It's Wednesday, April 16th, and it's at the community center, and it begins at 7 p.m. If you'd like more information on that, call George from Higher Expectations at 793-2359. Irish dancing. I thought I'd report on it since the library is putting on a nice program at the community center, and that's going to be on April 30th, which is a Wednesday. The times for the Irish dance show are 5 to 8. You might want to come down for that. You can contact the Tuckahoe Library if you want more information on the Irish dance show, 961-2121. Finally, if you have anything stuffed around your garage or your attic and you were interested in finding out more about it or maybe how much it was worth, we have an antique collectible appraisal event, which is kind of informative. Hidden treasures, bring them out and find out what they're worth, and there'll be a little seminar about what could be of great value to us that might not know what we have in our homes. So come on out. That's Saturday, May 10th, 1 to 5 at the community center. For more information on any of these programs or events that we have going on, you can contact me, 231-0229 at the community center.
The Antiques Roadshow. I know it's not them, but it sounds just like them. So, maybe there's that gem. When you watch that TV show, the last 10 minutes is when they show something there that you think is a piece of junk, and you find out it's worth $100,000. So that'd be wonderful if somebody would have a great story and tell us something they brought down.
I'm definitely going to look through my apartment.
Hey, you know the story that happened in Bronxville. They were getting ready to renovate their library, and they found an old painting, and that painting is what paid for their $3 million library. So let's hope. Let's hope. Maybe there's an old painting in the community center you can pull out of a closet for us. Thank you very
Well,
much.
we'll certainly look.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I apologize
I just wanted to say
that
one thing,
I walked
John,
right over
Certainly.
give the viewers a little bit of advice. If you plan on going to the Easter egg hunt with your children, get there on time, if not beforehand. I've made that mistake before with my children, where we got there 7 minutes after the sound of the bell to go out, and they're gone. So get there on time.
Well, that's good. We look forward to everybody coming up to the Easter egg hunt. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have our next village board meeting is going to be on Monday, May 12th. We have a residents' community meeting, which is going to be on Wednesday, May 28th, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. in the Main Street Park. Community meetings always start at 7, and they're open to the public, non-televised, and Main Street Park. On that night, we're going to have to make sure that they're not playing basketball and they're going to knock us off. We could always have that meeting in the corner. There'll be quite a few people in the park on a Wednesday night, so. That is going to bring us to our Board of Trustees member reports, and we're going to start with your very able Deputy Mayor, Thomas Giordano.
Thank you, Mayor Eklund. Just Two brief announcements. The next planning board meeting is scheduled for April 23rd at 7:30 PM. The two items on the agenda are 28 Columbus Avenue, which is a site plan for extensive renovation, for exterior renovation, and then the second is 269 Columbus, which was a site plan for a professional hair salon. The Zoning Board of Appeals has yet to be scheduled for May. Stay tuned. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Quigley.
Thank you, Mayor. For the Chamber of Commerce, a couple of items of interest. Restaurant Week, we're actually having two of them this year in Westchester, April 21 to 27, and then again May 12th to 18th. There'll be 12 restaurants in Eastchester and Tuckahoe participating. You'll see some publicity, some advertising about that, so it's a good time to come out and support our truly excellent local restaurants. And then you'll be hearing some more about this shortly, but the annual scholarship dinner in June for the Chamber of Commerce, again, to raise funds for scholarships that are granted to an Eastchester and a Tuckahoe senior graduating from the high school. On the library, just to follow up on what Don Galuzzi mentioned about our own little version of the Antique Roadshow, this was a great event last year. We had a big turnout, backed by popular demand. And just to know that this is the real stuff. The appraiser is a professional estate liquidator and a senior certified appraiser, so he knows what he's talking about. It's a great time to go and see what you have and maybe some treasures in your house. A couple other events at the library. The yoga has proven to be very popular. It'll be starting a new season on Tuesday, April 22nd, 5:45 p.m. You can, again, check with the library to sign up for the yoga class, but that was quite a hit the last time they did it. Lots of events for the teens and the kids. For example, some of the teen movies coming up are, the Lego Movie, Ender's Game will be playing. Again, all this information is at the library and on their website. Again, the library is at the forefront of our digital age. And on April 22nd, on Tuesday, April 22nd from 2 to 3, you can learn how to download books and music to your mobile device. People will walk you through all those steps. Spanish and English story time on Saturday, April 26th at 11 o'clock for the 2 to 6-year-old crowd. Kids movies, Frozen, which won a couple of Academy Awards, I think. That'll be on April 17th at 2 o'clock. That's for the ages 4 to 10. Lots more going on with our library. So just check out the library, look at the website. They're connected to our village website. Any questions, you can call them at 961-2121. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Luisi.
Thank you, Mayor. Jennifer Vetramiel, the director of the Senior Center here in Tuckahoe, is proud to say that since they've moved to Father Hall at Assumption Church, they have over 30 new enrollees in the senior program at Father Hall. So the move really worked out well for the program. On Thursday, April 17th, the Tuckahoe seniors will be attending the musical Ragtime at the Westchester Broadway Theater. And then on Tuesday, April 29th, health professionals from Lawrence Hospital will be conducting a program on how to treat joint pain and arthritis. If I can piggyback off of our agenda this evening, just for the public's information, there was a release in the media about the Tuckahoe school budget, which was laid out on April 7th. The superintendent of schools, Barbara Nunzi, has proposed a $31.5 million school budget, which represents a 1.43% tax levy increase, which is under the allowable state cap. The district has been assisted by several state aid incentive programs, which has saved the district more than $300,000. In this budget that is being proposed, the district is hoping to save $36,000 by outsourcing out-of-district transportation costs. This proposed budget marks a 2.3% increase over last year's $30.1 million budget, due in large part to mandates. However, this year, the proposed 1.43% tax levy increase is the lowest in 5 years and is markedly lower than last year's 3.08% increase. The Board of Education is expected to adopt the budget at its Tuesday, April 22nd meeting. There will be a public hearing on May 12th in advance of the vote, which will take place on May 20th. And again, that vote will take place at the Tuckahoe Community Center on May 20th. So my point is, it seems that this community is doing its darndest to keep our taxes down for all its residents. So I commend not only the school board, but once again, I commend the Village Board of Trustees for an outstanding job. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Alfasi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick briefing on a little bit that's going on in the building department. Our residents know that we have quite a few projects that are ongoing right now. The Glenmark project, that's the one, the big one at the intersection of Marbledale and Main. There has been an additional demo permit that's been granted. So the last building that's standing, it's hard to see, but there is still one standing up against the cliff, so to speak. That's going to be demolished pretty soon. The Crestwood Station project, if you go by there now, I think they just tore down the existing buildings, is that right? So that permit was issued, so those are moving along. And I wanted to ask council, do we have any updates on, I know there was some litigation going on with the Crestwood Station, is that
Yes.
finalized?
Yeah, there was litigation going on with the Crestwood Station. The village was actually a named party.
I recall.
The action settled between the predecessor developer and the current developer. All of the actions have been discontinued against the village. Obviously, no contribution by the village, and the current developer is now free to move forward with the development.
So that's all good news. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Last Thursday at our work session, we met with the Tuckahoe Beautification Committee. They had asked, and I had suggested that they come and kind of reintroduce themselves to the Board of Trustees. There's a lot of new faces up here on the board, and some of the women who have, and men who are members of this committee, we wanted them to have a chance to talk to us, to kind of fill us in on what the projects are that they've been working on, and just kind of have an open discussion. And we were quite impressed by what beautification has historically done for the village of Tuckahoe. They're getting ready to go ahead and have their beautiful hanging baskets, and it was interesting to hear what a secret it is that the grower kind of holds that color for the village of Tuckahoe. So they will be delivered soon. Our Department of Public Works teams will get them hanging. We'll be watering them throughout the season. They really do make the village look beautiful. They're on the main corridors, Main Street, Fisher Avenue. So they do an awful lot. They're having their largest fundraiser of the year is coming up on June 1st of this year. It's the Tuckahoe Beautification Street Fair. It occurs on Fisher Avenue in the Crestwood section of Tuckahoe. So I urge everyone to keep that on your calendar, to come on out and support them, because all their money, all their funding comes right back into keeping Tuckahoe a beautiful place. As Trustee Alfasi mentioned, the Crestwood gas stations, which is up in the neighborhood I live in, are down. They've been there my entire life, and interesting to see that project underway now. Along with that, we do have some other pretty large construction ventures that are starting. So I just urge a little bit of caution and a little bit of patience with some of the traffic flow that we're going to have. There's going to be, certainly this summer, there's going to be an awful lot of construction vehicles running up and down Main Street, because I just got an email this afternoon from the Glenmark project, which is now a McCallie project, where they've asked to have a groundbreaking ceremony the first week in May. They wanted their president to come for that. So we'll finalize that date. We'll certainly be out there. We'll make sure we have maybe some video footage of that. It's the largest project that will be undertaken in the village, certainly in the last 10 years. So our planning and zoning board and our village attorney have put countless hours into making sure that luxury rental project is going to be just so. So between that and the Crestwood project, we're going to have some very attractive new development in the village. And as Deputy Mayor Giordano mentioned, it's going to help us in our tax base too down the road. So these are all good things for the village. On Friday, May 9th, we are going to have a new mayor in Tuckahoe. It's going to be a student from Tuckahoe High School. They're going to have their annual upcoming PTA fundraiser, and I suggested that they have a mayor for a day contest, so they're hopefully they'll get a few bucks in this, and the high bidder is going to be somebody who's going to come on down here and spend an entire day actually filling in as the mayor of Tuckahoe. So they'll be meeting with each one of you department heads too, so get ready, put it on your calendar, May 9th. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be a great day for the student too, so looking forward to that. I do want to mention, I don't know if anybody, I'm hoping that everyone, I should say, notices that the audio and video of our meetings now is fixed. I want to thank the residents. We spent some of your tax dollars in finally getting the problems fixed. It has been, you can tell by my sigh, and maybe that came over this brand new microphone that's in front of me. It has just been so difficult to conduct a meeting, whether it's a zoning or a planning meeting, where you spend a half an hour at the beginning of each meeting dancing up and down, waving to the back, hoping that it works. Most of the time it didn't work. It didn't broadcast. So it turned out that, I mean, we knew we had an old system here. It was 40 to 50 years old. So we completely gutted everything top to bottom. We recabled everything. We have beautiful new monitors in this room here. Hopefully this is coming out wonderfully at home, or else everyone's going to say that I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I'm just going to highlight some of the things that we've done. We have a new state-of-the-art video and sound equipment. We have a brand-new sound system. It replaced a 1970s system that was here. We have new robotic cameras and a video switching system. We now have full digital recording and playback of meetings. No more VCR tapes. We had about 8 VCR machines in the back room. We couldn't even buy the VCR tapes anymore. We actually had bought some cases of them before they were finally going to stop making them. So we now have the ability to program and update channel messages immediately from remote locations. So we're now going to be in a position where we can have on our cable scroll, we can have some of this work done without somebody having to come down here, open that room, and put a VCR tape in, push a button, says record, and hopefully it would record. The new monitors that we have here, it's all, everything we have here is all computerized, and we have new power outlets in the room. We had to put an air conditioning system in that room, which was critical. One of the things, it was like over 100 degrees in that room in the back, and that certainly wasn't good for the equipment either. So it was a big expense. It was definitely needed. I mean, to say that we really exhausted the lifespan of the old system is an understatement. So I hope everyone can hear us and that we look okay. We have new lighting here as well, and new speakers, new cameras, so it's a good way to start the year off. So I want to certainly thank Frank DeMarco and Bill Williams, our facilities manager, and Frank did a fantastic job. His team actually did the heavy lifting and construction in that back room. There's a two-way window. We actually cut an opening so they can actually see us and see what's going on in the meeting. So a lot of big changes here. So just happy that we finally got it done. And finally, I just want to wish everyone a very happy Easter and happy Passover. I apologize that our meeting is on the first evening of Passover. We schedule these meetings a good 6 months in advance, and I will take responsibility for not observing this holy day on the calendar. So, but with that, it's going to bring us to the second opportunity to address the board if anybody has anything they would like to talk to us about. And if not, if there's no other business tonight, I will ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Till next time, Tucko, have a very good evening.